We are witnessing the end of the old world order and the beginning of the new. In describing the mark of the beast, Revelation chapter 13 verses 16 through 18 tells us this: And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. On March 17th, 2020, Florida Chief Judge Raul Zambrano signed an order concerning emergency court procedures for COVID-19. The order specifically states that beginning March 18th, 2020 through April 6th, 2020, court proceedings in Flagler, Putnam, St. Johns, and Volusia counties in Florida will be limited to those which are deemed mission critical, with a list describing those proceedings. Letters O through S on the list are the most concerning. O equals violations of quarantine or isolation orders. P equals violations of orders to limit travel. Q equals violations of orders to close public or private buildings. R equals seizure of bodily fluids. And S equals mandatory vaccination proceedings. This order by the court only helps to confirm our suspicions that the plan for the future is to force vaccinations on the public. The adoption of these actions seems to signal what could eventually lead to forcing the masses to take the mark of the beast. It should also be noted that on March 13th, 2020, Denmark's parliament unanimously passed an emergency coronavirus law which gives health authorities powers to force testing, treatment, and quarantine with the backing of the police. The far-reaching new law will remain in force until March of 2021. As a result of this law, Danish citizens could face prosecution under the new law if they refuse to comply with health authorities' demands. It means that you could be sentenced to a punishment if you, for example, refuse to allow yourself to be tested for coronavirus. As well as enforcing quarantine measures, the law also allows the authorities to force people to be vaccinated, even though there's currently no vaccination for the virus. It also empowers them to prohibit access to public institutions, supermarkets and shops, public and private nursing homes and hospitals, and also to impose restrictions on access to public transport. So, if you refuse the vaccine, you will not be allowed to access the bank, the grocery store, public transportation, your place of employment, and the hospital. This sounds suspiciously like verse 17, in that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. On March 19th, 2020, the border between the U.S. and Canada was closed, and on the following day, March 20th, the border between the U.S. and Mexico was closed as well, both due to coronavirus. The border closings prevent citizens from leaving their country in an effort to seek shelter elsewhere in the world if they do not agree to the mandatory testing and vaccination laws being forced upon them in their place of residence. States are closing all non-essential businesses and issuing stay-at-home orders to their residents. Curfews are being set in place as well. Again, this is not just happening in the US, it's happening all over the world. The time we are now living in is reminiscent of the children's game, musical chairs. In this very moment is that moment in the game when the music stops abruptly and everyone is darting around in a confused state of panic and fiercely competing against each other, grabbing frantically at the chairs that remain, trying to find a place to sit. The pause or stop button has now been pressed on the operations of the entire world. Moreover, the fact that the globalist puppet masters who hide behind the scenes and pull the strings of the puppets and figureheads of countries that span the globe decided that now is the time to shut the entire world down is very significant. This is the moment of climax. We have reached the crescendo. All of the satanic rituals that they have carried out in the past were building up momentum for this very time. This is the moment that they have chosen to completely destroy and do away with the current world system in order to bring about their version of a new world order.
Well, there have been extraordinary scenes in Berlin tonight as thousands of people gathered to hear Barack Obama deliver key foreign policy speech on his current European tour. The Democratic presidential hopeful laid out his vision for America's place in a new world order, saying he was speaking as a proud citizen of the United States and a fellow citizen of the world.
Therefore, you can be sure that when the music begins to play again, it will be playing a very, very different tune. Just in case you had any doubt that this is what's actually taking place, the elites have sent another one of their puppets with a hidden message for the public. Tom Hanks' wife posted a video of herself singing Hip Hop Hooray by Naughty by Nature. Notice that she's reading a book called Ender's Game while she is on quarantine for being found positive for coronavirus. This is a reference to the phrase end game, which is the final stage of a game of chess or the final stage of an action. This is symbolic of the end game the elites have planned for the world to bring Obama to power as the Antichrist who rules over the new world order. She then raps the song Hip Hop Hooray verbatim.
You drew a picture on my morning, but you couldn't make my day.
This is a very impressive feat for someone who is supposed to be suffering from coronavirus.
This will put a human face on it, okay? Tom Hanks just tweeted. He and his wife, Rita, are in Australia, okay? They don't feel great. They got tested. They have coronavirus, okay?
An illness that affects the lungs and respiratory system and causes shortness of breath. But there's more to it than that. The phrase hip hop hooray is a cheer which is called out to express congratulations towards someone. In singing this song while reading Ender's Game while on quarantine for coronavirus, she is sending congratulations to the Antichrist for the ushering in of the New World Order through this global deception, which marks the beginning of the end. The phrase hip hop hooray also has its origins in the Middle Age Latin battle cry, A Jerusalem es perdida, which means Jerusalem is fallen or Jerusalem is lost. Daniel 11:45 tells us this concerning the Antichrist and Israel. And he shall plant the tabernacles of his palace between the seas in the glorious holy mountain. Yet he shall come to his end, and none shall help him. The name of the group, Naughty by Nature, is significant as well. Naughty means wicked, sinful, evil, immoral, and unrighteous. Nature means a person's character from birth or creation, his essence, heart, the fundamental qualities of a person or thing, its identity, and essential character. Naughty by nature describes the son of perdition, the man of sin, the Antichrist. If you have not surrendered your life to Yahweh and accepted Messiah as your master and redeemer by believing in your heart and confessing with your mouth that Yahushua HaMashiach is the Son of Yah, the sacrificial lamb without spot or blemish, who shed his blood on the cross for the redemption of sins and defeated death through his resurrection. The time to do so is now. When the world does finally start back up again, you can bet that the old order will be severely deconstructed, if not completely destroyed, and you will indeed be living in the New World Order, or at the very least, the beta version of what surely is to come. May the Most High bless and keep you all. There's one final thing I want to present to you before I go. Remember when Dave Chappelle walked away from $50 million and left the U.S. for Africa? When he returned, he appeared on Inside the Actor's Studio and Oprah, where he spoke about his experiences. In his interview with Oprah, he spoke about how Hollywood always tries to put black men in dresses.
I mean, I'm a conspiracy theorist to a degree. Like when I connect dots that maybe shouldn't be connected, I don't know. But certain dots, like when I see that they put every black man in the movies in a dress at some point in their career, I'll be connecting them down like, wow, all these brothers gotta wear a dress. That's happened to me.
During his interview on Inside the Actor's Studio, he spoke about how he structures his jokes, letting you know that hidden within his jokes are social commentary. Notice he's wearing the number 44, which is a reference to number 44, Barack Obama.
Was it selling weed? No, but I was making a point. You know, I was making a very subtle point. And here I am, a black man in a limousine. Now we get into the class issues. Right. In the ghetto. So it's truth and jest. You know, people, I pride myself on saying real shit that people don't even notice I'm saying.
He purposefully makes subtle points with the intention of his audience not actually being aware of what he is really saying. Let's take a look at Dave Chappelle's show, Sticks and Stones. He opens the show singing Prince's song, 1999.
I was dreaming when I wrote this. Forgive me if it goes astray. When I woke up this morning, could have sworn it was Judgment Day.
The song 1999 is a reference to 666. The name Prince is a reference to the Prince of the power of the air, the Prince of this world, found in Ephesians 2:2. He also goes on to tell us about his introduction to powerful people like Senator Kamala Harris, who introduces him to Barack Obama, the governor of California, Gavin Newsom, who he says looks like Batman, a reference to the Dark Knight Rising or the King of the Bottomless Pit. He also mentions meeting one of the princes of England, which once again is a reference to the Prince of this world. The punchline for this joke comes at the end of his show during the epilogue, which is the end of a book or play that serves as a comment on or conclusion to what has happened. This is what he said.
Sat down, not having no TV show, trying to figure life out, and the election was going on in the background, and this guy, Barack Obama, was picking up steam. It's the last three candidates. Now, Obama's a lot taller than Edwards and Clinton, and he had the center podium. And at one point, they're all on stage, and they start fussing, and Obama goes, "Look, none of us are perfect," like this. His hands was like this, and there was light shining behind his head, and the other two candidates was looking up at me, and I was sitting in the audience like, this nigga looks like Jesus. Looks like Jesus. Looks like Jesus. Looks like Jesus. Looks like Jesus.
All giving honor to God and our Lord and Savior Barack Obama.
In a way, Obama's standing above the country, above the world. He's sort of God. He's going to bring all different sides together.
Be still and know that I am God.
This nigga looks like Jesus. Looks like Jesus. Looks like
I will be exalted among the nations. I will be exalted in the earth.
In the very beginning, he told you it was Judgment Day and made a reference to the number 666 and the Prince of the Power of the Air by singing Prince's song. And in the end, he tells you that Obama is the false Messiah.
I pride myself on saying real that people don't even notice I'm saying.
By the way, it looks like Dave Chappelle eventually cracked under the pressure and put on that dress anyway. There are way too many signs which point to the time we live in as the time of the end, and which point to Obama as the Antichrist for people to ignore. Therefore, no one will have an excuse when they stand before the Most High to answer for their actions. May the Most High bless and keep you all. Amen. Shalom.